What's going on, everybody? Deacon here. No intro, none of that stuff like that. Just jumping straight into this. Just talking briefly about how I got out of this rabbit hole of the black men, black women beef, because I need to watch this residue all so I continue to move forward and make the content that I want to make, trying to get back into this YouTube thing. Now, for anybody who watched the last 3 videos I made in 2021, just talking about how I was foolish enough to get back in it in the first place, and then how while I was in it, I noticed the difference between the two. So the first time, it was just kind of seeing what's going on. I'm hearing things, I'm taking things personal that didn't even apply to me. And then the second time going back in, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just dive in this thing, see what's going on. So then when I start making my content to give people hope who are looking for relationships, I'm like at least in the loop and know what's going on in the conversations and be able to give some relevant information instead of just talking out the side of my neck and people like, oh, we don't move way beyond that. And I mean, it was crazy. It was seeing a lot of immaturity, lack of accountability, and a whole bunch of buzzwords that were just used to degrade each other. Even though I'll admit, some of them were kind of funny, you know, hearing about whether people being dusty, Pickmes, Pickmeshas, skip me's, pick knots. Then you have, of course, your Walmart Tavius, Tech 9 Terrys, your Pookies, your Ray Rays, Beta males, what's another one? White Knights, and there's a couple other buzzword terms. Just a lot of terms people were using in order to shame others. While some of the information was good to actually call out certain behaviors for what it was, most of the time those accurate definitions were nothing more than words they used to weaponize to hurt one another instead of to educate one another. But I did find out one key thing that was important from all this, how this cycle continues to go, how everyone avoids accountability. And that is, I learned the sister code is a real thing. All right. Now I know for a fact that only 24 to 30 people are going to actually watch this video, but I wanted to put what I'm about to say in context. The sister code has nothing to do with putting down men or about men in general. It's more about inspiration, encouraging, and protecting your sister at all costs at its simplest form. Here I explain the negative effect of what I saw on social media when protect at all costs turned into lack of accountability. I mean, I've always heard about it and knew it was something, but to see it like online in real time was crazy. To where you have ladies that see other ladies doing wrong, doing bad, they should call it out, but they don't call it out because then you call it out, you'll be called a Pickmesha. You're shamed in some kind of way that is just like, man, now you're excommunicated from the group. Shame on you, get out of here. You know, you're not down for us, you know, traitor. But then for the guys, it was interesting because what guys do is they just disassociate. It's easier to call out things when you don't associate with guys like that, but it's like when they know they have a guy in their circle doing dirty or doing wrong, instead of just like, hey man, that's wrong, unless, you know, they have that deep of a connection. It's just, all right, let me back up, disassociate it. So then when people are calling certain things out, I can just be like, nah, I don't associate with dudes like that. And then you can call out, you know, terrible behavior, because you can say, hey, I don't want with dudes like that. But these two people who either you don't snitch on or you don't hold accountable or call out hurt the people who are actually looking for something real, and the cycle continues. One creates or breeds another, and the cycle just continues to go on and on and on, and it's crazy. Then the people who are, as I heard, internet priests and social media pastors and reverends, they're very good at profiting off of this stuff because they see the pain and they see that people are eating the pain and licking the plate afterwards. They're like, hey, I can build a whole YouTube career or social media career and make money off of this, no matter how degrading or how eloquent and educated your speech is. I mean, I've seen it all across the board, from your ratchet, just downright ridiculous saying things off the wall, but then I've seen those who are very cerebral in what they're doing, but yet neither one of them are doing it in a way to actually find solutions. It's like solutions on the internet, like who does that? But instead, they're just doing it in a way to further cause divide, to take your side so that you keep coming back and you keep giving them dollars. Because like I said, people like to hear themselves validated in these spaces instead of, okay, I heard it, I see where I can do better. Let me find somebody else who's also come to that same revelation that they need to do better. Hey, let us two mature adults who want to engage in healthy relationships get together instead of being in these echo chambers of our same sexes complaining about the opposite sex. Nah, Very little of that was going on. You'll see people say, yeah, this is what we need to do, but no one was actually offering any information to get that done or even showing what it looks like. So yeah, that was interesting. But anyway, how did I get out? So how I got out of this rabbit hole was basically spending time in the very place I created to have peace of mind. And that was my own marriage and my own household. Now, I'm not saying this because, oh, we got it all figured out, we better than everybody else, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, I knew what I wanted. I wasn't about the games, wasn't about the drama. And I met a woman who also wasn't about the games, wasn't about the drama. So then as what we're going through and we're growing together, we understand, well, hey, we in this together 10 toes down. So because of that, we're going to do whatever we need to do necessary to make each other better as individuals, because we know it'll benefit us as a unit. So because of that, we have a wonderful household, at least I think so, of course, but where in our household with our 2 children, our 2 beautiful daughters, we're in a household where you're loved, you're appreciated, you're respected, and you're heard. Even with our children have a space where we let them know you can come and talk to us about anything. And even if we'll have any type of reaction, we're still listening to you, replying to let you know you are being heard. And then we can talk about the semantics of why this may or may not be a good idea, or why this is a great idea that you brought to the table, and that we can move forward from that. But just learning that and fostering that. So then if my daughters ever take it outside of the household into future relationships that they may have, they have an example of what a healthy one looks like. And that was another thing I noticed when being offline and you spend time in real life. Well, I'm not trying to say people's experience and what they share online is not real life. I'm not trying to gaslight anybody. But when you're spending time with people and you're actually talking to them and they're not being just impacted with stuff that they see online, where it's a big echo chamber, and you come across people who have different experiences, it's amazing how you notice with the people who actually are happy and are, just living life, that's what they're doing. They're not spending a lot of time making content or doing certain things. And if they are, it's considered boring, because let's be honest, we like the drama. I mean, I'm not exempt from that. I'm not judging nobody. There were certain channels on the men and the women side that I was engaging in their content because it was like some of the stuff that they were talking about I found entertaining. And because I was able to be more of an observer, because a lot of the stuff that was being said, it was like, oh, that don't apply to me, that don't apply to me, no, that's not me either. Oh, he talking about that's the type of dude they doing this, that, I ain't worried about that. I could listen objectively, to where sometimes I notice when people go to these channels, like if you know somebody's talking bad about you, I'm not one of these people who are gonna willingly jump in there and just to take a whole bunch of social media punches just to then get the clickety clacking on a keyboard to say, oh, not all men or this, that, and the other. If it don't apply to me, I've grown, I'm matured to a point to where I've learned that if it don't apply, let it fly. And instead, okay, well, have you tried this alternative or looked at this, that, and the third? But that's what I did, talking to people, rubbing shoulders with people, picking their brains about certain things, people who are actually in relationships. How are you able to find things to work in this scenario? How did y'all get together? When you actually hear stories of people who are actively working to grow, to love, to build, it gives you a different perspective instead of just you're angry, you're in a place where you're frustrated, so you're only going to listen to people who are also angry and frustrated, or you're consuming content to where they're going to keep giving it to you because you're going to keep eating it, and you're going to lick the plate afterwards, the plate, the fork, get you a napkin. You might even come back for seconds and thirds because they're going to keep providing it for you because it's making them a check. Even if they themselves are not living it, they could be living a whole nother life, ain't applying none of the information they're telling you. But as long as you're going to keep consuming this pain, they're going to keep giving it to you. So I was just like, nah. Because I witnessed it earlier in my life before even social media was a thing like this. It's like, nah, that's not what I want. It's good to watch on TV when it's fictional or reality TV, but it's not something I want in my world and in my reality. So that's it. I got myself out of this rabbit hole just by spending time in an environment where it was built intentionally to be able to have that peace, to have a woman and a family that I look forward to coming home to. And just to now be able to share those experiences and share that wisdom that I got, that for those who, if this is your thing, you want to think about getting married or black love or however you find love and your experiences or whatnot, to just be like, hey, it exists. Here are some practical things that I think will be beneficial for whoever's watching. Because I know all relationships are different, but I'm of a mindset, but the foundation by having a healthy and loving relationship is the same. Ask anybody who's in a happy, healthy relationship, regardless of what they do in their relationship. Like they genuinely do love and care about each other, what they do and how they make it work, and compare notes. There's more I can talk about, but I'm gonna just stop there for now. But this is it. I'm wiping my hands with this. For those who are continuing to eat the pain, going back and forth through all this, content creators who do y'all thing. It's social media. I'm not trying to destroy anybody's bag. I'm just trying to say, hey, for those who want an alternative or to see something different and to see hope, I'll try to do my part to provide some of it, you know, to add some wisdom, to add some knowledge out there, and to let people know, like, hey, it's not all doom and gloom. Are there some harsh things and some trash people out there? Absolutely. Are the stories that you hear that people are sharing about their experiences real? Yes. But one thing that's helped me even to get to where I am in my marriage is when I matured enough that I could listen to not only those who are happily married, but those who got divorced but are not bitter about it. It made my relationship that much better, because then those who tried and failed for whatever reason were able to give sound advice where it's like, hey, this is where I messed up, or this is what messed up, and because I'm rooting for you, here are some things you got to take into consideration to give yourself a chance. Because just like businesses, you know, there are a lot of businesses that fail, but we don't talk about the ones that failed. We shop at the ones that succeeded. So that's the same thing I'm trying to do, is trying to be a shop or a store, from what I've been told, is succeeding. I mean, my wife and I are about to celebrate 20 years, and I give all glory to the Most High for that. But because of that, I must be doing something right. So all you got to do is make sure you ask the right questions, and I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I try not to be too descriptive. My wife says sometimes I can be a little bit too much of an open book, but that's a different video for a different time. But that's it. Hopefully you found something good. If you stuck to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Like I said, feel free to leave any comments or questions in the comment section below, respectfully. And as always, be wise. And until I see you all next time, have a great day.